Canadiens Golden Knights, Mario. Two games happened over the weekend. There was one on Friday night and one last night. On Friday night, Mario, the Canadiens won 3-2 in overtime. And then last night, the Golden Knights won 2-1 in overtime. So I'll start off with game three, which at the time, the Canadiens led that series 2-1. Now the series is even at 2 apiece. But let me start off with game three. I'll start off with the Canadian stats in that game. Josh Anderson had 2 goals that game. And Cole Caulfield had a goal as well. And 3 players had assists, Mario. It was Paul Bryan, Nick Suzuki, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. And Carey Price saved 43 out of 45. So, which is a save percentage of 9.56. So Carey Price pretty much saved them that game. We always talk about it. Anything over 35 shots on goal is it's a little bit too much. 2 players had goals on the Golden Knights in Game 3. Mario was Nicholas Roy and Alex Pietrangelo. They both had 1 goal. And Tomas Nosek and Matt Pacioretty both had assists. And Marc-Andre Fleury had saved 24 out of 27, which is a save percentage of 8.89, pretty much 89. So they're not he actually ended up getting replaced in Game 4, Mario. But we'll get to that in just a second. Let me just get to the box stats for all this game right here. Overall, Mario, game stats wise, shots on goal, the Golden Knights had 45 and the Canadiens had 27. That's crazy. Face-off percentage, the Golden Knights had 50.8 and the Canadiens had 49.2. Power plays, neither team made any of their power plays, which again, like I mentioned in the last video, it's a trend that you're going to see in these 3 games. Penalty minutes, Mario, the Golden Knights had 4 and the Canadiens had 8. Hits-wise, the Golden Knights had 36 and the Canadiens had 52. So they're very, very aggressive, Mario. Blocks-wise, the Golden Knights had 20. The Canadiens had, the Golden Knights had 21. My bad. The Canadiens had 20. Giveaway-wise, Mario, again, this is another trend that you're going to see. The Golden Knights had 15 giveaways and the Canadiens had 25 giveaways. That's just incredible. That's absolutely unbelievable. Takeaway-wise, Mario, the Golden Knights had 5, and the Canadiens had 7. So when I look at this, Mario, obviously the one thing I'm going to look at is power plays. You know what I mean? Power plays was horrible. The Golden Knights had 4 opportunities to make a power play goal, not 1 made. Canadiens had 2 of them, didn't make 1. And again, you're going to understand why when I get to the final game later on, why I say this has been a trend all weekend. I'll get to why that is in just a minute. But I look at other factors, Mario. The giveaway wise, I feel like the Golden Knights giving away the puck like it's Christmas time helped the Canadiens win, and that's probably why they took advantage of that. Same thing with the Canadiens. You're just lucky that they didn't take it. You're just lucky that the Golden Knights didn't take advantage of that because you gave away the puck 25 times. I think that's the most giveaways I've had to mention ever since we started talking about the playoffs. That's unacceptable. You can't be doing that. That's absolutely unacceptable. Both teams are unacceptable. I know 15 is 10 less than 25, but that's still a lot of giveaways. Without a doubt. But there are some things that the Canadiens did right. I feel like they weren't that on offense, Mario. They were perfectly aggressive. I'll say that. 45 shots on goals, I feel like is a little bit too aggressive, which is why I think the Golden Knights fell because they were just becoming aggressive. Now, towards the end, Mario, I think the Canadiens defense started to let down just a little bit, which is why the Golden Knights were allowed to even shoot 45 to begin with, 45 times. So you can thank Carey Price for literally saving your asses. That's the best way I can say it. But overall, Mario, they did win in overtime. They took advantage of that opportunity, and they did what they had to do. But one thing's for certain, and I'm going to say it in the next game as well: make the power plays. Make the power play. That's the best advantage you have to making a goal. Stop giving the puck away. This goes for both teams on both ends when it comes to power plays and giveaways. Stop giving the puck up so much. Start making your power plays. Hits wise, if the Canadiens are going to hit you 52 times compared to your 36 on the Golden Knights, I need to match that or do better. That's just that, So overall, Mario, if I'm going to be honest, this was a little bit of a sloppy win, but it is a win, so it does count. So Yeah, Mario. With that being said, we'll talk about Game 4 in just a minute, but I want to hear your thoughts on this game.
Well, first of all, the star of this game is definitely Carey Price. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you have 45 shots on goal and you save about 43 of them, you're definitely the star of the game. There is no doubt about it. Other stuff, Nate. Yeah, honestly, it is a little sloppy. The only reason why I say that is because of the giveaways. 25 compared to 15, like that. 25 giveaways is unnecessary. It really is, and you can't be doing it. Again, like you said, they're lucky that the Vegas Knights didn't capitalize on that. The Vegas Knights had 45 shots. Again, they only made 2 out of 45. So they got to be better with that. And the Canadians, I feel like they were picking their shots. Correct. I think they were picking their shots. And that's the difference between being overly aggressive and picking your shots. There are cases where we talk about being being more aggressive. Like if you have if one team has like 35 and the other team has 30, and the team with 35 won 3-2, then yeah, that's when I say be more aggressive because you might have gotten another goal to tie it or even win the game. But in this case, shooting the puck 45 times, it's just overshooting without having an answer. It's as simple as that. But yeah, overall, Nate, power plays, they haven't been that great, especially over the weekend. It hasn't been that great. Um, Penalty killers have been doing an amazing job stopping those penalties, but regardless, you need to capitalize on your power plays. Um, and yeah, when you look at this game, Nate, there really isn't anybody I can point to besides Carey Price. Carey Price had a great game. But I am glad that guys like Kotkaniemi, Jack Anderson, these guys are getting involved. Jack Anderson had a very good game. I believe this is game three.
Yeah,
Game
this
three.
is Game 3, correct?
Yeah, Jack Anderson had a very, very good game three, so I got to give him a lot of credit as well. As for the Vegas Knights, Pacioretty has been doing very good. Peter Angelo, Nozek. I mean, we haven't heard a lot from him, so I mean, maybe he gets involved more in this series. We're not quite sure, but overall, Nate, who else also had a good game? Byron. This weekend, Byron has been doing pretty good for his team. He's been contributing very, very well, so I got to give him a lot of credit too. But overall, this game, it was a Carey Price game. It's as simple as that. It was a Carey Price game. He kept them in this game. So, Nate, when I'm looking at this, both teams are good defensively. This game, I got to point to two things. It was the Canadians picking their shots and choosing wisely and finding the openings. And it was the Canadians being more aggressive. So it's that 52-38. That's not going to, you know what I'm saying? Like that's obviously showing you who's the more aggressive team. And if you don't match that aggressiveness, they're going to keep doing that to you. It's kind of like a bully. It's kind of like a bully. The bully's going to keep bullying you until you stand up to the bully, you know? Other than that, it's just going to keep happening daily and daily and daily. So you gotta stand up to the bully. But I will say this, Nate. Overall, not one team has turned the doorknob. They haven't unlocked the door yet. Both teams have been winning by close margins, and not only that, the defense has been amazing for both teams. So there still is hope for those teams. But I mean, obviously, Nate, game 4, it was a different story. The Vegas Knights ended up winning, and we'll get to that next. But the Canadians did a great job of being more aggressive and picking their shots wisely to win game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. In Game 4, it was relatively the same story. It was more of a defensive game. The Golden Knights won this one 2-1 in overtime. Game 5, let me just check for you guys real quick. Will be on Tuesday night, 9 p.m. It's going back to Vegas. That's gonna also be on NBC. Um, so make sure you go check that out if you wish to. I'll start off with the Golden Knights on the stats for Game 4. Braden McNabb and Nicholas Roy both had goals. Um, and assists came from 4 players, Mario. Yeah, 4 players. It came from William Carlson, Matt Pacioretty, Alex Tuck, and Shea Theodore. And like I said before, Marc-Andre Fleury did not play in Game 4, and I'm not sure if he's playing in Game 5. But Robin Leonard took his place, and he did a really good job, Mario. He saved 27 out of 28, which is a save percentage of 964. So Robin Leonard did step up and do a really good job. Um, Now there was only 1 goal and 1 assist. The 1 goal came from Paul Bryan of the Canadiens, and the 1 assist came from Nick Suzuki as well. And Carey Price, he saved 19 out of 21, which is a save percentage of .905. So overall, Mario, this was more of a defensive game more than it was of anything, really. Shots on goal again, the Golden Knights had 21, the Canes had 28. Face-off percentage, the Golden Knights had 56.4, and the Canadiens had 43.6. Power plays, both teams had one chance to make a power play, did not make it. Now you see why I said that it was a trend. Power play, no, excuse me, penalty minutes. Both teams had 4 penalty minutes. Hits wise, the Golden Knights had 24, the Canadiens had 40. Walks wise, the Golden Knights had 16 compared to the Canadiens 19. Giveaways, Mario. The Golden Knights once again had 15 giveaways. Canadiens had 19 of them. And takeaways, the Golden Knights had 4 and the Canadiens had 7. Like I said, this was more again, this was kind of the same story as game 3. This was more of a defensive game than it was of anything. But I look at it, Mario, and a lot of the things that I mentioned, more specifically the giveaways, is why the Canadiens lost this game. Giveaways, 19 times. Was it as much as game 3? No, but 19 giveaways is still a lot of giveaways. It's unacceptable. Same thing with the Golden Knights. You're lucky that they didn't capitalize. So it's basically like role reversal almost. You know what I mean? Hits wise, I look at the Golden Knights, Mario. Like I said, they either need to match the Canadiens' hits or do better. 24 hits is a lot, but when other team is out hitting you by 16, you got to do better than that. You know what I mean? Penalty minutes is not really that wasn't really a big issue to begin with. Takeaways, the Canadiens did a good job, but again, they weren't capitalizing on the opportunities, and they were leading this game 1-0 for quite a while, Mario. They scored 1 goal in the second period, and the Golden Knights scored in the third. I think they scored in there was 2 minutes left in the third. I could be wrong. I did watch a little bit of this game, but I didn't watch the end of it. But I could be wrong.
Minute 18 left in overtime.
Yeah. So it was like towards the end of the game that they actually tied the game, and then in overtime they scored. But yeah, Mario, I look at this and the Canadiens defense kind of let them down. I think they let them down because you look at it, Mario, there wasn't that much time left in the third period before the Golden Knights scored. Had that defense stepped up and did what they had to do, we'd be having a different conversation. You know what I mean? But overall, Mario, just both teams are very defensive. These scores haven't really been that high scoring. Last game it was 3-2. This one's 2-1. The other ones weren't really that high scoring either. So this is more of like a defensive showdown, if anything. But which is what I love to see. I mentioned that I love seeing defensive games. It's just really interesting. But overall, Mario, I think the offenses didn't do too bad. But again, when I look at the Canadiens, they kind of undid a lot of what they did in game 3. When I look at this, they undid a lot. Like I said, game 3 they had a lot of giveaways. They were lucky that no one took advantage of that. Same thing here. When you mentioned in game 3 how they were picking their shots, they were doing the same thing, and I think if they continue to do that, I'm going to be honest, it's going to cost them. That's definitely going to cost them if they continue to just pick when they shoot. Take the opportunity when it comes to you. That's the best thing I could say. As for power plays, both teams need to make those giveaways. Both teams need to drop that number down very low because it's so far it's cost them both teams. It cost the Golden Knights. Now it costs the Canadiens. They're undoing a lot of what they were doing right before. So if I'm both teams, I'm just overall looking to be better, in those categories anyway. Power plays gotta do better. Giveaways, you need to stop giving away the puck so much. This isn't Christmas where we just give gifts to each other. At Christmas time, yeah, sure, give each other the puck. That's the time to give. But it's June, it's 90 degrees out here. I'm hot as hell, and I'm sick and tired of you guys giving away the damn puck. You know what I mean? But look. Anyway, in all seriousness, though, those are the two aspects I'm looking at. Shots on goal. This one for the Golden Knights was a little bit low, but it's relatively balanced, so I don't really have much of an issue with that. So overall, Mario, this is more of a defensive series, and I do love seeing it. So with that being said, again, Game 5 is on Wednesday. Oh, excuse me, no, Tuesday. My bad. It's on Tuesday. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. It's going to go back to Vegas. That's also going to be on the NBC Sports Network, so make sure you go check that out. And yeah, Mario, best of luck to both teams. We'll see what happens in Game 5.
First of all, Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, but this is going to be a defensive series, I feel like, throughout. And here's the thing, okay? What interests me a lot is Robin Leonard. And the reason why is because I remember when he came in against the Colorado Avalanche, and they absolutely destroyed him. But I understand why, because the Colorado Avalanche had that first line and they were absolutely tremendous, and it's hard to stop that offense. When I'm looking at this, it's going to be a lot easier for these Vegas goalies, because offensively, the Canadiens are just not as good as the Avalanche. Okay. They're probably a better team, but they're not as good as the Avalanche because, again, offensively wise, because they don't have the same offensive tools that the Avalanche do. But defensively, let me tell you something. The Canadiens are a very, very aggressive team. And this is another game where the Vegas Knights were not aggressive enough. 40 hits compared to 24. Now, you still won the game, and it wasn't overtime. Your defense did do a good job. Don't get me, and the Canadiens' defense did do a good job, too. I'm not going to say they let them down. What I'm going to say is this, okay? They fought as hard as they could in overtime, but the Vegas Knights ended up getting the winning goal. It's just as simple as that. Now, again, like you said, giveaways unnecessary. Obviously, when you see two defensive teams, you're going to get these many giveaways. But that's the thing, okay? Is offensively, in order to win, you're going to need to be better. One of these teams is going to need to be better offensively. You're going to need to click. One of these offensive teams are going to need to pull the trigger. It's as simple as that. None of them have done it. Offensively, none of them have done it. It's been a defensive game throughout, And the Vegas Knights, we talk about it. They would be coming into the NHL playoffs. They were a top 5 team in offense and defense. They were the only top 5 team in offensive defense. Now you're only acting like a top 5 team in defense. Do it offensively. They haven't this whole playoff series. This playoff series, the last playoff series, and the playoff series before that, the Vegas Knights have proven that they are a top 5 defense. They haven't proven that they're a top 5 offense. Simple. So I need to see it more. Simple as that. Power plays, like you said. I mean, it was only one power play each, so you really can't say oh, they could have made that one power play. But again, you don't have a lot of opportunities. The one thing I point to for the Vegas Knights winning, again, face-off percentage that gives you the puck to begin with. There's one. You had less giveaways than the Canadiens, but regardless, 15 is too much. And then that's about it, Nate. Overall, this was a good defensive game. Again, but when it came to overtime, Vegas was able to capitalize. That's the only thing I can really point to. Carey Price had another good game. Was it as good as as game 3? No, absolutely not. But he still did what he was supposed to do. It's just as simple as that. Now, Robin Leonard, he had a good game. Again, .964. We got to give Robin Leonard a lot of credit, Nate, because he did an absolutely amazing job. Now, obviously, I'm going to point to the fact that he didn't have to go up against that Colorado Avalanche powered first line, and Nate McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen, and he didn't have to go through that. So it was probably a lot easier. But regardless, he still did a great job. I can't take nothing away from him. Now, as for Game 5, I don't know who's going to start between him and Fleury. But if you got two goalies who can play like this on a consistent basis, the Vegas Knights have a good advantage there. As for the Canadiens, just keep being more aggressive than the other team. Not too aggressive to the point where you end up giving up penalties, but keep being aggressive. That's one. All right, defensively, keep doing what you're doing because they're doing a great job. And again, the Canadiens should be golden. This whole series, the rest of this series is going to be determined by which team will be better offensively. Simple as that. Because defensively, both teams are good. It's going to be about offense, Nate. And one more thing too, because I don't know yet. Carey Price has had 2 good games in a row. Okay, is he going to have a third one? That's my question. Okay, because like I said, Carey Price is either on his game or he's totally off. So we don't know what Carey Price we're going to get. It's kind of the same thing with Fleury, except the only difference is Fleury, it's a lot less. It's a lot less back and forth roller coaster ride. It's more of all right, these first 3 games I was great. This next game I didn't do too good, and then the next 3 games what I'm saying. That's the way Fleury is. Carey Price is 1-1. So we're gonna see what Carey Price we get. But if Carey Price could be as good as he has been these past 2 games, then the Canadiens could easily win this series. As for the Vegas Knights, you got to be better offensively. It's as simple as that. But with that being said, I wish both teams the best of luck. Next game is going to be in Vegas, I believe.
Correct.
All right. The next game is going to be in Vegas, Game 5. I wish both teams the best of luck, and we'll see what happens. And I'm so happy, Nate, that we have 2 even series. It's making the NHL playoffs really good.